we won't always have the opportunities that we want, like instantly. So sometimes it's a lead. One thing will take us to another thing, because now I think a part of the problem of unemployment is that there are people who are offered jobs, and then just because that job is not what they thought or wanted to be, then they will say, no, I'd rather be unemployed than taking a job that is available that I don't want.
We're going to be talking about a very sensitive topic, a topic that has impacted a lot of South African lives. And welcome again to Conversations with Kgaugelo and MJ Matjomane. So for today we're going to be speaking about on the effects of unemployment on the upcoming generations. Over to you.
So like you said, it's the effect that we are facing, right? The problem, the challenges that we are facing. So let me go right into it. So firstly, what we'll do is we'll outline what are the impacts or the problems, and then we'll later go into solutions, or how can we move forward, or how can we do best as citizens. So firstly, I would say now the problem is that, or it has always been that we have less jobs and we've got more people who want jobs. So we've got less food and more people who are hungry. And then again, something that has affected us so much, I think it's the society, because we've only been taught one way of success. So actually the society or the system or the environment, whatever it is, they've only taught us one way road of success, which is going to school, getting a job, and settling for what you can settle for. So there's nothing outside that we know of. And then also, the education system on its own, I think it was designed, or it's built to make us employees.
And becoming employees.
Employees only. So those are some of the things which are limiting us. Something again, I would say it's self-belief. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe that we can be more. We don't believe that we can do other things except for the ones that has been programmed within us. That's why people would say, because we don't believe that
something like that.
Exactly. We are restricted, and then I think those are the core things that we will be covering. And then I don't know if you've got some of the challenges or problems that you want to outline, or should we just directly go to the resolutions? Or
talking about the effects, I heard you speaking that we were actually taught like one way of doing something, and I must say that I agree with you, because I remember going from high school to varsity, we were told that move from high school, go into a varsity, graduate, get a job, become rich. It's like it's a straight road. But then we are never prepared for the life after varsity. That's something that we never prepared for. Nobody ever actually starts telling us about what happens after varsity. We get into our first year and we are told, hey, enjoy life, this is varsity, varsity life. But then we are never taught what's going to happen after your third year. And that's where you start actually meeting up with troubles. And I'm speaking from experience as well, because it's something that I started thinking about when I got to my final year. I started realizing, I'm supposed to be getting a job. I'm actually going to be an employee or whatever. Actually, that's when I started realizing, actually, my future is in my hands. Everything is dependent on what I do. I cannot blame anyone from this point onwards. And it's something that we're never prepared for. We're never prepared, Uguti. After varsity, there's a chance that you might not be employed for this amount of months, and what should you do then going forward? That's why you find a lot of people waiting until they are done with school to start looking for a job, and then you find them sitting for a whole year being unemployed and going through the whole stress and depression and of some sort. So
you're right, because I think something else that we need is just to outsource information, since the education system won't give us such information. So it's knowledge such as knowing that it's possible for you to go to school while you do a side hustle.
It's possible.
You can go register your course and do the course that you want to register while you do something on the side, while you are DJ on the side, while you are chef on the side, while you do whatever that you want to do on the side, also looking into, but don't just go for anything. I would say, try to seek for something that it's close to your heart, something that you like, something that you enjoy to do, something maybe that is closely related to your passion, something like that. It doesn't have to be something that corresponds to the course that you are doing, but it can be anything that you are interested in, so I think those are the kind of things that we can look into. And also not only students but people who go to work as well. I think you can go to work. You can go to work and still do a side hustle, because I know we've got, and the working class have this attitude of saying, I don't have time, I'm tired,
when I come back from work I can't do this, and
which is not true, because I mean we come back to work and then what are you doing from 5 up until you go? Someone is online.
And the sad part is that you're gonna realize after 40 that you wasted all this time. You could have maybe started the company that you've always wanted to study at the age of 40. Now you realize, well, I could have done it earlier, and then you've been delaying and saying, I don't have time, I can't do this, I can't do that, so I guess
no, that's it. And I mean, someone says I don't have time, but they go online from 5 up until 12. They watch TV the whole day, they watch TV the whole evening, all weekends. What are you doing? So it's how much I think it goes back to how much do you want it, how bad do you want it,
exactly.
Time is always there, just need to utilize it in the right way.
So, and also I'm going to speak mostly directed to people who actually, let's just say now, okay, whether you've already found a job, maybe you're within a job, or maybe you are looking, or whatever position that you're at. Because one thing I've realized also is that let me put it this way. What happens is that as an individual, you find yourself in a position where you actually want to look for opportunities, but then you have that negative self-talk within yourself. So what happens is that every time you want to, it's like self-sabotaging behavior. So sometimes you must be able to spot those self-sabotaging behaviors as well and say, okay, now this is me, I'm supposed to be looking for a job. Let's say you are looking for an internship, or you're looking for a job, you're moving from one place to another, moving from school to that, and then already you're thinking, I'm going to fail that interview, I'm not going to get that job, I'm not going to get. So first start with stopping that self-sabotaging behavior, and then moving yourself to actually start looking for whatever job that you're looking for, because at the end of the day, unemployment is something that's there. And whether you are in varsity, whether you already have a job, at some point in your life you're going to find yourself in a position where you experience unemployment, and you're supposed to get rid of that negative self-talk, because that negative self-talk is what's going to make you go through that level of depression and telling yourself you can't get out of this, because unemployment can happen at any time. You saw with the pandemic what happened is that a lot of people lost their jobs. It was 3 million people who lost their jobs, and with those people who lost their jobs, yes, there were jobs created, but then there are still people who are sitting. So now instead of you engaging in that negative self-talk, I can't do this, I'm obviously going to fail the interview, or maybe I haven't gone to an interview in a long time or whatever, but then look at other opportunities as well. Look at other opportunities and allow yourself to explore with all the other options that you have. Because if you realize that a lot of people realize now during the pandemic that they were in jobs that they didn't like doing, that they were in jobs that they didn't enjoy doing. So the bottom line is for you to allow yourself to explore with whatever chances or opportunities that you have, because it's not all the time that you're going to get presented with an opportunity, because the world doesn't owe you anything. It's not always going to come to you and say, hey, here's a job opportunity, here is a what. So at the end of the day, you have to explore with what you have at your level. It might not be a lot of opportunities, but then allow yourself to expand within your network. So
I think that's very important, because it all starts in your mind, right? So we hear a lot of people saying you need to be positive, 1, 2, 3, but which it's not something that is just like easy and challenging, but it's something that is doable. And I think one of the practical ways in which we can try to champion this one is to try and engage yourself with the right people, because you are the average of the 5 people that you spend yourself with. So if those people are keeping you in a box, you will be in that box, wherever. But if you choose to associate yourself with winners, you will become a winner as well.
Yeah, and also adopting the winner's mindset as well.
That's
knowing that even if it gets difficult, you might not get a job now, but then you're always a winner and you're always going to think of other opportunities and create opportunities for yourself and see opportunities where there is challenges.
Precisely, because it's just a game of belief at the end of the day. Because now if you fix your mind, then you fix your belief, and then if you believe you can do something, then you can go to something. Because if the reason why we procrastinate to do something or we don't want to do something is because we don't believe that we can do that thing. So but if I believe that this thing that I deserve, I can claim it, can be mine, and I'll go hard on that thing. So I think it's a game of mindset, and this is how we can champion it as well. And I think the other thing as well is the attitude that we bring when we do side hustles. It's very important because we need to be realistic. We can't just say I'm going to do a side hustle and then you go Herbalife, you got 2 clients and then they reject you and then you're like, no, it's difficult, it's not for me.
It's not for me, exactly.
You're not being realistic.
Yeah, that's so true, because I think the attitude that we carry when we're going through to a side hustle, because if you realize technology has given us so many opportunities and it has enabled us to connect and do things in ways that we've actually never did before. So technology gave us all of these opportunities. I mean, like right now you can easily make cash online, you can become a YouTuber and make cash, you can go online and create designs and make cash on Teespring, there's different platforms that you can literally use to make cash. And there's also side hustles, people selling, becoming distributors, independent distributors of different brands, not even only Herbalife, but like different brands. But then once you carry that mindset, Yoguti, I'm just going in there for the money. Then what happens when you get to that level where you reach, you can literally go for a month without receiving clients? You're going to end up quitting and saying, that's not for me. So the attitude, what you said is very important, the attitude that you carry towards that side hustle. Let's say now you want to start a side hustle, because it's another way for you to create an opportunity for yourself where there isn't any employment, a side hustle. So when you go towards it, your mindset, you have to have that mindset, Guti, I'm going to create this opportunity for myself, and you must know, Guti, what skills are needed and what efforts are you willing to put in to make that work. Because if you're not willing to put in any effort, you just want the money back, then you're going to end up quitting. It's like creating a YouTube channel, for example. With a YouTube channel, you only get paid after certain views or after a certain number of subscribers. So if I go to YouTube with that intent, Yoguti, I'm going to make money instantly. I'm going to YouTube just to make money. What happens when I only get 5 likes and not get anything? You're going to end up quitting. So you must also align your whys, why you want to do that side hustle, because if you get to a point where you reach, okay, let me put it this way. Say now you're looking for a job and you can't find a job. The reason why we actually bringing up this point of having a side hustle is that sometimes when you don't find a job, you should also have other plans. Because at the end of the day, in order for you to make it and be successful, you need the knowledge, the skills, and the network. And you going into that side hustle, you getting a job that is not related to your qualification is still considered a job, and it allows you to network with different people. What happens is that once you start, maybe you're not getting a job within your qualification, you get a job with a different qualification. So what's going to happen is that you're going to meet different people. You don't know who's going to connect you where, but then the more you speak to people and you speak to them about what you did, you might get help where you're not even expecting it, or you might find somebody who can actually point you in the right direction. Because to be honest, what we're taught in school isn't actually enough to even get us into the workspace, So it's also important for you, when you have that side hustle, just know it can also be part of your network. It's your network, because networking is very important, because we are told in school knowledge and skills, and then you study, you get distinctions and what final year, no job.
Exactly.
And then when you don't get a job, now you're asking yourself, what did you do wrong? You don't realize that the network is also important. You knowing people who can give you important information, who can help you, because sometimes there's an opportunity somewhere and you don't know. But then if you have that right network of people, the right circle of friends, like example you said you are the average of the 5 people that you spend most of your time around. If that circle of friends is influencing you in a positive way and you have the right circle around you, the right network, they can actually lead you to where you are supposed to be.
Exactly. Because the thing is that we won't always have the opportunities that we want, like instantly. So sometimes it's a lead. It's a lead. One thing will take us to another thing, because now I think part of the problem of unemployment is that there are people who are offered jobs, and then just because that job is not what they thought or wanted to be, then they will say, no, I'd rather be unemployed than taking a job that is available that I don't want.
And because you think you're overqualified.
Yeah, that's something like that. And what you don't realize is that you don't just arrive at what you want. It's a lead. This thing has to take you to another, because let me give you a practical example. If you are driving a car and you know your destination, where you are going, you don't stop driving that car just because you can't see your destination, but you keep driving because you can see the lights are showing you 300 meters in front of you. As soon as you close that 300 meters, it will show you another 300 meters, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, up until you get to your destination. So sometimes we just need to settle with what is available. As long as we know what we want, as long as we know where we are going, because it's knowing, or I know where I'm going, but it might take me time, but I'm patient. In the meantime, this is what I will be doing in order for me. I'm sacrificing where I'm going so that I can, use this journey. And something else you mentioned, it's the issue of money. Our attitude or our approach that we go with side hustling. That I'm going to side hustle because there's money. Someone will come, hey, have a life, there's money, come join in. That's a wrong approach, because if we are going for that thing mainly for money, I don't think we will sustain it long enough, because we need to earn that money before. You cannot just go and get that money. There's gonna be so much. There's a huge gap in between the time you start and the time you start to make money. Right? Exactly. And then in between, what will you be doing? Because it will be tough. You will be hustling. You won't be getting the results that you want. So if you are all in the money, you're all for the money, then you won't sustain. You won't get to the other end. You won't get to the other side of the tunnel. So I think the right approach is going for something that even if you don't like it today, but it's leading you to where you are going. But if it's mainly for the money, then I think it's a problem.
And I'm going to. There's a comment from Tapelo. So we'll read the question, the comments afterwards. So I'm going to take us into the most painful moment, and it's a moment that everyone gets to think about when they actually finally I'm going home. I'm going home, meaning that once you're done and you realize you don't get any job or get that internship or learnership, whatever that is, and then you realize I cannot stay here anymore, I have to go back home. That has to be the most painful thing for people, because I've seen people going home, and from listening to their stories and also listening to how they felt when they had to go, it was heartbreaking. Now they get home and they get to sit there every day. And then they get to a stage whereby even their family members are actually annoyed by them. Like, when are you getting a job? So that is also some of the things that actually affect your mind. You go into depression, because you also, as much as people are like, don't mind what people are saying, but then usually you get a lot of people say, Guti, that person went to school and now they are unemployed, just like us. And that, to me, what I have to say to those people is that do not lose hope. It doesn't matter if a person says you went to school and you're not getting that job, but just keep up the hope and know that your time is coming. Because when the time is right, everything will happen accordingly. Everything will fall into place, because it's very painful for you to actually have all of these hopes and dreams, and then suddenly you have to move back home, and it feels like those hopes and dreams are closing in, and it feels like you can't actually do anything about it now. So what happens is that they go home. So my suggestion is that once you're home, you don't have to apply, like we said, you don't have to apply for the job that you qualify for or that you studied to do. You can also look at other opportunities that will open up your circle of network. You get to meet different people. You can even start a side hustle, become a distributor. Literally, you can do anything. Keeping yourself busy in that difficult time is very important, because then you don't allow yourself to engage in negative self-talk, because the minute you start engaging in negative self-talk, that's when you go down through the road of depression and you don't want to speak to any. Because I've seen a lot of people go down through depression, they don't talk to anybody, they lose weight, they stop eating, because it's the stress of finding a job. You be applying to 100 jobs per week, but then not even be called to one interview. And sometimes when you get the response through the email is, unfortunately, you haven't been accepted, And I must say that I've also received a lot of rejection. I must say it hurts. That's why I'm saying sometimes you speak about something that you experience. Like you'd apply for something and then the only response that you receive is the unfortunately. You haven't made it. But then what you must do is build the resilience. Like even though you get a lot of unfortunately, just to know that one day you will be fortunate in what you're doing. You will be fortunate and your hustles will be blessed. So just keep on going. That's what I have to say.
No, true that. I think it's difficult for someone to consistently be applying for something that it's like they lost hope.
You lose hope.
You lose hope, but I would say what you need is courage. Because as much as we can lose hope, now the main thing is that losing hope or quitting to apply won't make you to find a job. But at least we know that if we consistently keep on applying, then we stand a chance of getting a job, So it's not easy, but I think that's the only route that is available for us to consistently be applying, even though it's not easy, And
while applying, keep being busy.
Don't just wait.
Apply and wait. Like there's a lot of we've been afforded with technology, and do the necessary research with what you want to go in, so that like you have the full information of what you're going to be going in. Like just doing proper research on the business that you want to do. Look for problems and try to find solutions for those problems. That's you keeping busy.
So while you wait, do your best. Don't just wait and wait for that opportunity. So I think also with the issue of researching, results reap results. The moment you start to search and investigate about that particular thing that you want to indulge yourself with, this is where interest comes, this is where inspiration comes. Something that we need to know. Inspiration doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. Once you start doing things, then there's certain amount of knowledge that comes in, of interest, the certain drive that comes within you. But so the difficult part is just waiting, because people are just waiting. Sometimes fear is something that is very, very crucial in this kind of recession, because it's holding people back. People are scared to go. Not everyone who's unemployed doesn't know what they want in life. Some they know, they're just afraid to go because of fear of rejection. People will judge you and things like that.
And you just fear, if I quit my job, what if it doesn't work? All of that what ifs are keeping you back.
Yeah, exactly. And what we don't know about fear is that the only antidote of fear it's action. Fear will have a grasp over you if you are sitting, procrastinating, complaining. But the moment you start to take action and move, fear will lose a grasp over you. So if you can understand this, I think it will take us somewhere as well.
Yeah, it will. Can I read? Okay, let me just. Okay, the study gives a thorough view of the effects of unemployment as it highlights the South African policymakers need to ensure unemployment policies consider both present and future generations when initiatives and legislations are drafted. And that's from Kgaugelo. And then the other one, he says, okay, I think it's the same comment, and yes, I saw it. So here he says the study gives a thorough view of the effects of unemployment. It highlights that Australian policymakers need to ensure employment policies consider both present and future generations when initiative and legislations are drafted. So it's basically the same, and the other one has. So I think it would also relate to. Remember when I was telling you earlier that how we okay, let me just first say this one, because I feel like I've missed it. How the whole unemployment came, like 3 million people were unemployed, and then jobs were created, and then from jobs being created, okay, fine, the unemployment stats dropped, right? And then from it dropping, so I was speaking about the fact that as much as they can say jobs have been created, but then how many of those jobs are actually for graduates? You know, how many of those jobs are for graduates? Because most of them you find that they are general worker jobs, and some of them are like they want experienced people. And then let's say now you that graduate and you come in, and then now you're not gonna be, you actually don't even fall within that category. Yeah. So yeah, and also let's just say, let me put it this way. And I feel like also, like graduates should also, like, even though there is graduate programs that are introduced, but I feel like mostly like they would want 2 to 3 years experience, and where do you get that experience being a recent graduate? It's like it automatically cuts you out, you see. So for some reason I feel like they just always cutting off graduates, and they always
no, I agree with you. So then this leads us to say then we shouldn't rely much on the government. You know, we can rely on it, but you know, we shouldn't say it's the government applying job opportunities or nothing. So this is where the side hustle comes in. For me, I believe in side hustle more than anything, you know, because you can never go wrong as long as you are willing to put in the work and the effort. Like, it's not about who you are today, but it's about the person that you want to become and the price that you are willing to pay to be that person, you know. So it's through side hustling that it's going to teach us a lot of things, because now, like I said, the approach or the attitude is very important. You know, you cannot just go there and you know, find few people who disappoint you, or clients or whatever that is not working out. Things are not going to work out in the beginning. So because anything that you do for the first time, it's not a good time, but it's a difficult time. You know, you have not done that thing before. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult, but you need to persist and stay there. And also, I think something that is very important, you need to see the people who are excelling at that thing, you know, and find out what are the ingredients of those people doing that thing. Why is that person in top 10 who have a life? Why is this DJ in such position? How did they do it? Yeah, speak to them. You know,
I see a comment, but I'm scared to touch it because it's gonna it'll move.
Okay.
I think the graduate unemployment rate is one of the current issues being discussed by higher education scholars. College students spend their time and money in order to receive educational advantage. Okay, let me just touch it once. Okay, where was it? It's a paragraph. That's a paragraph. Okay. College students spend their time and money in order to receive educational advantages unavailable to high school graduates. So if they face unemployment, they are more vulnerable to unaffordable economic conditions because they have already spent their resources pursuing higher education. This is the reasons why college graduates are facing unemployment in the competitive market. There are several factors to explain their unemployment status. Okay, I totally agree with what you just said. Like that we spend our time and our money investing it and getting a good education and everything, and it makes you more vulnerable to the unemployment that happens. Because most of the time, if you check, if they're going to create jobs, for example, then they create jobs for general workers. Usually they want grade 12. So meaning that a person who didn't even go to varsity, who just has a grade 12, they're able to get it. And then you are there, you're a graduate. Obviously you want something related to your job, you know, and then there isn't anything. And then the other jobs that are offered is 10 years experience. So like it puts you in a position where you are unable to do anything. It's like, I remember there was this girl, she was telling a story and it was so heartbreaking. She was like, she stayed 6 months and she was like, okay, that's the shortest. She stayed 6 months without being employed. And she ended up applying for jobs that she knew very well that she didn't qualify for. You know, just to say, you know, because they, like, for me, I feel like there's just that gap. It's like, it's either this or that. Nothing for the graduates. And that's where the problem lies. And what I can just encourage people to do is that for me, firstly, obviously, never lose hope. Have a positive mind. And as much as a lot of things are disadvantaging us, especially now that obviously you're using your time and resources to go to school and whatnot, and then at the end of the day, you don't get a job. But then mind you that you have the skills. Now you have the knowledge. Now all you need to do is find the network of the right people, and it doesn't matter whether you are looking into starting your company, your business, or you actually just looking for placement. But then already now it puts you, I'd say that it's an advantage of some sort, because now at least you have the knowledge. And now what we are being taught in school isn't necessarily all the skills that are required. Because if you check on the job application, they actually want more. I realized this during the pandemic. I was like, actually, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
like
according to what?
I don't know anything right now. I'm like, I don't know. So I had to go back and sit down and actually be humble. I was humbled by those questions. I actually researched online side questions for IT. Question 1, I didn't know anything. So that's why I realized, as much as they teach us in school, they don't teach us everything that we need to know. You know? So it's up to you as an individual to place this responsibility on yourself and say, I'm going to upskill. I am going to upskill, and I'm going to learn all the necessary skills that are going to enable me to compete in the industry that you are in. Whether you are in the law industry, whether you are in the marketing industry, wherever you are, just upskill and have the necessary skills that will enable you to compete. Even if you don't have the experience, but you've got the skills, then you just need the network. The network can lead you to the experience, you know. So have something. Like, don't just relax and say a job will come to me, because honestly what you're being taught isn't anywhere close to what you should know, or like regarding the field that you're going to. Only when you get to the workplace do you realize, oh, I actually don't know much.
We have not done these things.
We have not done
applied something different on its own. So skills are very important, because I think sometimes it doesn't matter how much we apply, for as long as we lack that skill, because that's the thing that you're going to face when you get there. If you don't have that skill, so then, but then, like you said, networking is very important, but networking with a skill. So make sure that you polish your skills, so that whenever you engage with the right people, they can take
it leads you to the right places. Because again, at the end of the day, you have the right network. Okay, mostly in Zanzi they say connections work, but then at the end of the day, if you have the right networks, but then you do not have the skills, then you're lacking. So even though they say connections get you far, but then I still believe that for an individual, looking at yourself and where you want to be, if you really want to become that great person, you shouldn't just settle for that and say, I gotta do. Because most of the time, people would have such big dreams that when they get into a job, then they start relaxing. So just know where you're going, where you want to be, and even if you do get that network of people who actually point you in the right direction, maybe do this, it will help you. Maybe it will, do a certain course. Because I know a person who actually went to a different varsity. Then from that different varsity, they were doing a different course while they left the other varsity, and then from there they met someone, and then that person led them to get an internship for. Then they're able to graduate. It's somehow you meet a person and you're like, yes, I've been looking for an internship and I'm not winning. And then they just point you in the right direction. Where have you been looking? Why don't you try this and this and this? And you actually go and do your research and you check, there's actually opportunities, and you look. So sometimes also don't be ashamed to speak about what you do. Don't be ashamed to speak about what you do. If you are in marketing, just say, I'm in marketing, I'm in HR. It will lead you to the right opportunities. And if you are looking to start a business, don't be embarrassed to speak about it and say, this is what I want to do, so that you can meet the right people and the necessary people who lead you to the correct places. And I think there's another comment.
Okay, can go for it.
Okay, securing a job depends not only on their academic performances, exactly what I said. Knowledge and skills goes with network, and and then securing a job depends not only on their academic performances, but also on the personal background, race, gender, and socioeconomic also plays a certain role in whether an applicant is hired. In addition, the skills and experiences gained through college curriculum are sometimes not sufficient for entry-level positions. Sometimes education is limited to a general level, which does not provide the specific skills needed. This guy's typing. He's typing. Sometimes education is limited to the general level, which does not provide a specific skill needed to be hired. traditional curriculum that the curricula that the school provides do not match the practical needs in society. Very true. And those differences contribute to unemployment. Compared to two-year institution or vocational colleges, four-year institution provides do not match the practical needs in society, and those differences contribute to unemployment. Compared to two-year institution or vocational colleges, four-year institution provide a broader curriculum in order to develop advanced citizens, and their course design and structure tends to focus more on this mission. That was long.
And I think it's something that I correspond. I support that view, because now sometimes yes, our background affect us, because now as much as we're in the same class and blah 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 blah, but we don't have the same amount of time. We don't believe in the same things. So
we don't have the same background. And
So it's a matter of going out of your way. We shouldn't just rely on the lecture and the person.
And the gender also matters, and the race. I speak on the gender because I know, especially when you go into a certain field and you're told, and you check, you look around and you see only male people, just know that, like, most of the time, like, you know, gender does, and also race. And obviously we're not going to be speaking about race, but then race plays a huge role. So I agree, I totally agree with what you're saying, and that sometimes what we're being taught is not enough to actually allow us to compete in the workspace.
Which is now our responsibility now to get out of our way and go get the knowledge that we need. Now it's understanding, like you said, we need to research. Now it's understanding the kind of a job that you're going into, especially towards your ending of the course now, and going and research what do they need. Do I have that thing that I need outside what I'm taught? You know, because you don't want to go into that interview or into that job and then now you just realize, well, no, I don't know. I don't really know anything. You know. So going and researching and doing your best.
Because in order for you to, you know, passions consist of interest and mastery. So it's what you're interested in, you practice it so much that you actually get to the mastery level of it. Then you can truly say you're passionate about something. So the same way, even with your course or your job, you have to continuously upskill and learn. Because now, I've heard a lot of people saying technology is here to take jobs away from people, because now there's going to be, you know, and then once you find people saying that and they don't realize, well, actually technology is there to create jobs. It doesn't take away jobs, it creates jobs. Although it allows people to do things with minimal, like, you know, going into the 4IR world.
I mean, we need to evolve, because otherwise we won't get to where we will be left behind. Technology is here, but we can make the excuses and say, no, they made this, I don't know how to do that, or we can move with the flow.
So you can actually upskill and learn how it works. So I remember I heard a story, I don't remember particularly who it was from, but that person was about to be retrenched because apparently there was a new system that was going to be used, meaning that they are taking them out of their jobs, you know. And once you've been taken out of your job, meaning that obviously that machine is going to be performing everything, right? So what that person did, they went and learned everything about that machine. So they learned how to operate it instead. So meaning that they kept their job. So the same thing must happen, is that even though technology comes and people think it's going to take away jobs, it's actually there to create and upskill. Allow yourself to evolve and move with technology. Move at the pace of this world and allow yourself to learn everything that's necessary. You know.
So I think it's pushing us to go outside of our comfort zone now, because now what technology is going to do, it's not going to take our AR or whatsoever. It's not going to take away our jobs. It's just going to help us. We're going to work together with these machines now. It's going to, you know, some things they're just not necessary. You go there, you do the same thing every day. So this is where AI will be coming. It will be capturing those things that you do on a consistent basis. Now it's pushing us to evolve and expand into other skills that we are capable of, but we haven't been doing because we've been relaxed doing the same things every day, and now our jobs becomes boring. You know, nothing is challenging anymore. But now if it's there, now you know you are pushed to go and learn something new. You know, so technology is not an excuse for us to say no, it's there, hey, blah blah, this is not fair, blah blah. It has always been there. they've always been doing microwaves, and they've always been doing these machines. They've always been doing, cars evolving. It's just
It's like now when you're speaking about this, I'm thinking about the robots that were created to actually pack boxes. So meaning that packer jobs are gone, but then what's going to happen? They need to upskill so that they can be the operators of those machines. So in a way, it's forcing you to become intelligent. It's forcing you to intelligence. You can't be staying behind all the time. So
and then they will never, human, as much as AI is coming, AI will never operate like human beings. They will never get to that point of human creativity, that skill that humans have, something that machines they will never have, So we still own the creativity part. So now most of our job will have to be creative, so which evolve and expand us into something else.
So wait. Oh, it's still the same. I think I read this comment. So there isn't any more comments. So we're wrapping this up.
I think.
Okay, guys. This was a hectic topic. It was a hectic topic, and we understand that it affects so many. I feel like this deserves a part 2, continuing speaking about unemployment, because it's really broad, and it does not only affect South Africa, it affects the whole world.
It's a broad topic.
So it's a really broad topic, and mostly for now we've been covering from people, mostly graduates moving in, people who are already in their jobs, who escaped, who quit their jobs, or who lost their jobs. There's always a lot happening in the sector. So guys, we've been speaking about the effects of unemployment, and also how to cultivate and realize opportunities that can help you and enable you to actually compete into this world that we're walking into, and which is for industrial revolution. So, and also guys, just know that it doesn't, even if it gets tough, life, you can never really go through life without challenges. You can never really go through life as how you were taught in high school, because everyone thought we'd be driving cars by now, we'd be rich, because we thought life literally went like that. You go from school, varsity, you graduate, you work, and then within 2 months you buy a car. That's how we thought, and that's how our mind works. And then now that you realize that it's actually tough, and also realizing that once you even start working, people automatically think that you actually have money, and they don't realize the struggle that actually goes in with the responsibilities. It's a lot of things that we're actually not taught in school. There's a lot of things that we could be taught.
School only teaches us technical skills, not human skills. And now we need human skills. After school, we need human skills, because there's a bunch of responsibilities.
There's a lot, and that's why you find people, because they were expecting to find a job and whatnot, then they end up not finding that job, and then they end up giving up and thinking, the world is just against them. The universe is against them. Nothing can ever go right.
Because they had misaligned expectations
about it, and not realizing that it will get tough, but then eventually you will get your break. There is no way. As long as you work hard and you're consistent at it, you persistently, grind at your goals, and just have that resilience, and you'll make it.
I think that's it for today.
And even if it gets hard, guys, just keep a positive mind. We know unemployment is there, and we can speak about methods of how to cultivate it, but then at the end of the day, it all goes back to the mind, how you think about it. And don't just view unemployment as that enemy that is there, but then see it as that opportunity that challenges you to think outside the box, to think outside of being just an employee to an employer, but then think at other opportunities that are there, to help you think out of the mindset of having a 9-to-5 job, but then actually ending up being your own boss, with your own side hustles, doing great things. So
I think that's the purpose of a crisis. Sometimes we can look at the crisis as something that diminishes us, but also I think a crisis enlightens creativity. Through a crisis we are pushed to think beyond our normal capacities and do things that we've never thought we could do, because there's no any other option. We are pushed, just like what the pandemic has done. If it wasn't about the pandemic, hospitals would never have been prioritized, digital learning would never have been implemented. There's so much that has happened, but if it wasn't about the crisis,
and you see a lot of people actually starting their businesses now that there was a pandemic, and you realize, people lost their jobs, they started their businesses.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes that big challenge, maybe that job loss or you not finding a job, can also lead you to where you're supposed to be. So just keep on working hard and
yeah. So don't just wait. Do your best while you are waiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
I think that's the end of it.
Next month.
Yeah, next month we'll release a date, we'll release a poster, but for now, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.